the 1%. They do not want you, the retail, the 99%, to get rich. They like keeping things the way that they are. But blockchain was meant to change the game, to democratize access and opportunity to everybody, fair and equal rights. And ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited today to bring you a project that has been in the works for over 18 months in stealth mode until recently. And it flips that on its head and gives you, the retail, the power, the 99%, the exact same opportunities that previously were only afforded to the rich. Guys, I am so excited to bring this to you today. I'm talking about Commonwealth. We're gonna go into a deep dive. This is long overdue, but finally I can tell you everything about the project. This is something that you really do not wanna miss. So there's a reason why it's called Wall Street. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to break down that wall. Welcome to All Street. This is Commonwealth. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is look at the website here. And as you can see, it's a very nice website and it just looks clean. It was designed with a UX, UI in mind. And you can see here that the theme of the entire Commonwealth project, the DAO, Decentralized Autonomous Organization, is all about All Street, all inclusive, everybody's welcome. You get the same opportunities as everybody else. So I really like this play on, Wall Street bets, Occupy Wall Street, the 99%. This is the modern Web3 version of that entire movement. We'll go through some of the key aspects here, and then we'll go quickly into the Lightpaper as well. I'll try to make this as concise as possible, but also go into as much depth as possible so you can get a good understanding of exactly what Commonwealth is and why it is so incredibly innovative. It is unlike any other project out there. A lot of people say, oh, is this like a Launchpad? Is this like a DAO VC? It's not like any of those things, and you'll learn why here as we go along. Invest with the best, right? So this is talking about where the deals come from. This will refer to the council, and we'll get into that in just a bit. One of the most amazing things here is always liquid. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, always liquid. Did you know that if you were to invest into a fund like Pantera or A16Z, you would have to commit not only a huge amount of capital, like at least $1 million minimum, but also for probably at least 10 years, you would kiss that capital goodbye, and hopefully after 10 years, you get some good returns. With Commonwealth, it is taking the approach of a traditional fund structure in a way, but you're always liquid, and we'll get into that in a bit as well. But this is really, really revolutionary and groundbreaking. It is huge. Mobile first and seamless design. We'll get into this in a bit, but the team behind Commonwealth that's building this, executive team, the designers, the architects, the technologists, they've built products that have had over 600 million users and know how to design some really good technology that has a good, friendly user interface, or as I like to call it, grandma friendly. And it's just really well done. It protects your privacy, safety, everything that you want from a investment platform. This is what you got. Okay, let's just scroll through the website. Unlock access to hottest early stage crypto deals all in one platform. So Commonwealth, this is gonna be an app that you can use on your phone or computer, whatever web app, but also for Android and iOS. Think of it as a more sophisticated Robinhood, if you will. This will have everything in one place, from the community in the app to and the discourse, the discussion that's happening around the deals, mentor support. It'll be a very active, very engaged community full of positive mental thinkers. We do not want any type of riffraff or trolling. Guys, this is for people who want to help each other out and who want to make a difference in their financial life. This is just a manifestation of countless hours of putting a large team's heads together and coming up with what is the best way to create the best product that really, really will be a game changer for the 99%. Okay, so discover global opportunities, back bold and diverse funds and projects from around the world, and supercharge Web3. Meaningful insight. There will always be a continuing evolution of the tools, analytics, and things like that that are being built within the Commonwealth platform. Build your portfolio. There'll be different funds that you can invest into. A lot of different ways that you could actually, invest. There's going to be multiple funds eventually running concurrently that have different themes, like maybe a metaverse fund, an NFT fund, a DeFi fund, a gaming fund, whatever, right? And so you can invest as much or as little as you want into any of these funds. And again, what's really cool is this always liquid part where your investment, once you invest into a fund, you get essentially a receipt of your investment that you can sell, which is an NFT. This is really cool use cases for NFTs. These are not JPEGs, ladies and gentlemen. These are what NFTs are actually for, real utility here. The whole entire stack is being built on blockchain for full transparency, meaning that you could always keep track of what's going on, when an investment comes in, when people are being paid out, how many tokens are being burnt, blah, blah, blah. Everything is always fully transparent. The treasury, everything. So you don't have to worry about some centralized team embezzling funds or putting your money somewhere. This is all on chain. The entire platform is being built to be autonomous, meaning that everything happens automatically and only can things change with proposals and voting through community and governance, right? So this is a really impressive, truly decentralized project. And people have talked before about DAOs not really working. Well, in my opinion, it's because they haven't had proper structure. There are ways, in my opinion, to have a DAO that has employees, for example, that are on salary, that have expectations to continue to receive salary, to do their work. But also, it's really important that you give premium support. This is something that will be able to be used by non-crypto enthusiasts, meaning just the average person who wants some exposure, wants to be able to use the app, wants it to feel like PayPal or Robinhood, very easy. But there will also be support to help people make sure that we don't lose customers, which is actually value creation. This whole thing is about how much value can Commonwealth create and how is it redistributed throughout the platform to token holders. And governance, same thing. Right now, this is built on Ethereum, although I am hearing from the team that maybe a L2 is in the works. I don't know, maybe Arbitrum or Optimism or Polygon. I'm not really sure yet. What you can be sure of is the technical team is extremely knowledgeable, extremely focused on security, and we want to make this very, very easy. So for new users who aren't familiar with like MetaMask and things like that, there's actually a feature in Commonwealth where a new customer can come and have their wallet created for them, which is really, really awesome for newcomers. And again, it's super important that everything is fully transparent. Okay, community is going to be huge here. There's going to be a big, big emphasis, and that is starting to ramp up now, as you can see. If you haven't joined the Telegram or Twitter, go make sure you do that. When the app actually launches, the community will be migrated into the app itself, which is going to be very, very interesting. But the community is going to be the most important. I can guarantee you this is going to be a community that you want to be involved with. There's going to be so much alpha there. There's going to be mentors and guests that come in all the time. This is really about what can we do together as a community to make sure that we all benefit. That's what true DAOs and token economies are for. Here's some of the team's investments. This is it's just a small amount of them, but you can see what kind of caliber of investments that the team who was behind this have made. Including some of these are from Master Ventures, some of these are from Metavest. But let's just say that Master Ventures and Metavest are the two kind of co-founders of the project. And we have very successful track records and plan on bringing all of the deal flow that we get to Commonwealth as well. But we are only a small portion of the resources that will be used to bring deals to Commonwealth. This is what the council is for, which we'll get to in just a bit. Commonwealth is an all-in-one investment platform that radically transforms the playing field. Now, here's a really interesting fact. You're probably aware of it. 99.99% of the world do not have access, cannot get into these seed and private sales of the best crypto projects. It's impossible. With Commonwealth, that will become possible. So we can see the team is a really impressive team. You've got guys from Activision Blizzard, Master Ventures, Cardano, Facebook, Google, Intel, Metavest, and Wire. Very impressive team. When you get a chance, if you like, go look at all the LinkedIns and you can see the team. And of course, it's still early days. I know that once They continue to raise more money from this NFT sale that's coming up, the Genesis 2. I'll tell you about in a bit. The team will expand, but it's a very, very impressive team so far. Go feel free to check it out. Common-wealth.io. Okay, let's talk about one of the most important things about Commonwealth. Well, I don't know if it's most important, but it's definitely innovative. Very, very innovative. So the team decided that they really wanted to be community focused from day one. Let's operate in the ethos that we are trying to communicate and live by. And so instead of going out and raising money from VCs like you would traditionally, Commonwealth has raised every dollar so far from the community, from you. The first bit of money that was raised was from the Genesis 1 NFT sale. Think about the Genesis NFTs the same as seed and private round investments. So if you have a Genesis 1 NFT, congratulations, you already got to do something that most people in the world have not, is participated in the very first seed round sale of Commonwealth. This is historically preserved for some of the best funds in the world. And these Genesis 1 NFTs are the seed round. Now, the Genesis 2 NFTs are like the private round. What does that mean? Essentially, that means like in investing, you have always these different rounds in which VCs can come in at. The seed round is going to be the earliest and most risky round, as still it's the most work that needs to be done, but it's a better valuation. So I know that for Commonwealth, if you purchased an NFT for the seed round, the Genesis 1, this valuation was around $11 million. Traditionally, when you're investing into a crypto project and you're investing in something like the $11 million FDV, or fully diluted valuation, you're expecting to get just tokens. Well, these NFTs, Genesis NFTs, Gen 1 and Gen 2, not only give you tokens at that valuation, but it's also like getting equity in the project or revenue share, because 15% of all the profit that's generated through Commonwealth in its entire platform is given back to the Genesis NFT holders. It's thanks to you guys that made this happen. And so you and us, we're all co-founders. The Genesis NFT holders, the team, everybody is contributing right now to make this community project work. From the bottom of our heart at Commonwealth, we want to thank you guys who believe in this project, who are excited for it. And if you're just watching this and finding out about it, it's not too late. You can always go buy the Genesis 1 NFTs on OpenSea right now on the secondary market. That's what's so cool. Some people who bought the Genesis 1, they bought them for $500, and now they're trying to sell them on OpenSea for $1,000 or something. Okay, if you want a 2x return on your money, fine. But there's also people who understand the value of these things, and they're like, no, there's no way I'm selling this at a 2x valuation, right? Like, they believe that this is going to be worth way, way more in the future. Plus, that revenue share that's coming to the NFT holders, that's paid out in stable coin or whatever the DAO decides in the future. But that's residual income for the rest of your life, which is impressive. Now, the Genesis 2 NFT sale is going to happen. It could be, I've already started by the time you see this video. We could be right in the middle of it. It's going to happen, I believe, over 9 days. I don't remember the exact terms of it. I think there's going to be 999 sold across 10 days or 9 days or something like that. And every day there'll be 999 that are for sale. And if they don't sell out that day, then they get burnt and removed from supply, meaning that making each one of them even more valuable. This is a really, really cool way for a project to raise funds, not having to go through traditional SAFs and things like that. This is a much more transparent, easy way that gives you a liquid position in Commonwealth. And these are what the Genesis NFTs are. It's one of the really cool, innovative things that the team has done. And it's just, I can definitely see more projects using this method to raise money in the future. All right, let's go look at the Lightpaper here. What if retail investors were invited to the same private early stage sale crypto deals as traditional venture capitalists? All street, baby. You can go read the manifesto when you have time, but essentially where this whole thing comes from is the teams that co-founded or ideated this whole thing, right? We are VCs, and we are very privileged in the fact that we get great deal flow, opportunities to invest in great companies and projects. The fact is that I was I'm still retail at heart. I still have my retail side. There's the Kyle and then there's Master Ventures. It's two different things. Kyle's, with his own personal money, likes to be a bit more degenerate and have more fun and doesn't mind, some meme coins. But then there's the venture capital side, which is much more buttoned up and doesn't take as much risk. But the fact is that I really do care about retail. I do care about you guys. And we wanted to bring a project forward that would really help, because the fact is that with most people in the world, when you're buying crypto on the secondary market, it's much more risky than a VC, because VC is always getting in many multiples cheaper than the first time that the public can buy this token. And Commonwealth wanted to change it up, wanted to give people an opportunity to get in early. That's the why of what Commonwealth is doing. So check out this demo. This is really impressive. You can see that it just has a really clean UX UI. Just think of this as an all-in-one investment app. You've got all kinds of things going on. Metaverse fund. You can see how easy it is to invest here. You're going to be able to do it through a credit card or with crypto. So a lot really well thought out. And the idea was to make sure that it mimicked the same type of experience that you'd find in something like a Robinhood or a PayPal or a Coinbase app, whatever. Very, very user-friendly. Okay, so who is Commonwealth for? It's really two different audiences, and I talk about this a lot. One of them is your casual investor who doesn't really care too much about the wealth token or the DAO. They just want to live their life. They don't want to have to go study blockchain and figure out too much about things, but they want exposure. And they know that they want some exposure to crypto because they think it's the future. Commonwealth is open to everybody. So let's say that you have, Sally housewife who comes in and puts $10,000 and she doesn't care about these tokens or the DAO or anything. That's fine. We'll take Sally's money, the Commonwealth will. It'll invest it. And if that does a 10x, turns into $100,000, Sally has the fee, the success fee that's charged from Commonwealth. That goes back, that's $50,000 of value that goes to Sally, and then $50,000 that goes back to Commonwealth and redistributed throughout the token ecosystem. This is more value created that stays within the circular token economy, which is what I'm always preaching about, is a true circular token economy. Now, the other one is going to be the true Web3 enthusiast. I have a feeling most of you guys watching, that's going to be for you. People who want to stake wealth tokens, participate in governance, really be an active community member, people who get excited about this kind of stuff. Now, let's talk about how Commonwealth works. So you can see there's a council. The council members are going to be first chosen, and these council members will be professional investors who have a successful track record of getting great deals, investing in them, and making good returns. Now, this is the first level of vetting deals that happens, because the council members who are able to propose deals to the different funds, they should have already deployed into that project more than likely. They don't always have to, but that's kind of the idea, that kind of VCs already share deals amongst each other, and they want other smart money VCs on the cap table, like Commonwealth. Why would someone want Commonwealth on the cap table? Why would a project want Commonwealth to invest into them? Well, because Commonwealth is going to be a massive, outgoing, very vocal community that when it invests into a project, it's like having tens or hundreds of thousands of, and one day millions of people who now have skin in the game of seeing that project win, seeing that project succeed. And so it's like giving the project a marketing army on day one. Who wouldn't want that on their cap table? That's huge, right? So that's the value proposition. And if you're Multicoin or A16Z or Sequoia and you invest $2 million into the seed round of a project, you're going to want Commonwealth to come onto it as well, because you know that if Commonwealth is on the cap table, that it has a higher likelihood of succeeding than without Commonwealth. That is powerful. So council will propose deals to different funds. They cannot pass them or enforce them. They can only propose them. It's up to the investors in the fund to vote yes or no on that particular proposal to invest into it. So the traditional fund structure, right? So a fund will open up, let's say it's a DeFi fund or whatever, and it's $3 million, boom, it opens up. And then anybody can come and invest stablecoin into it. And then let's say I invest $10,000, I get an NFT that represents $10,000 of investment that I could later fractionalize and create, $1,000 NFTs if I want to. Still, that's my share of the fund. And I'm now liquid as well. So if I want to exit some of my position in that fund at some time, if it's doing really well, take my, maybe take 2 or 3x profit. And then, now I've returned all my investments and I'm riding on house money. You can do that with Commonwealth, which is innovative. Never before has something like this been done. Really, really cool, really, really exciting. Now let's talk about the different types of funds. So you've got a themed fund, which is going to be what I've been talking about so far, which is a traditional style fund like Pantera or A16Z. They could have multiple concurrent funds running at the same time, so long as they don't have competing mandates or competing investment theses, meaning that there can't be like 2 metaverse funds open at the same time. A metaverse fund for $5 million could get raised. That $5 million could be deployed. Once the $5 million is deployed, at that time, Metaverse 2 fund then can open up. So there'll be multiple concurrent funds under the themed funds that are running. And that is really the innovative part of Commonwealth that's never been seen before. And there's a fee structure on top of that that is similar to a traditional fund style fee structure. This is really interesting because the management fee, which in a normal fund is like 2% annually of the assets under management, if it's a $10 million fund, 2% of that every single year is taken and given to the management as the management fee. Commonwealth also has the same type of fee structure, but the difference is that the management fee goes back into the treasury in stablecoin for operations and overhead, because the goal for Commonwealth, this is really important, is they always want to maintain 4 years of runway in the treasury so the team has sufficient capital to do work and continue to grow the protocol. What often happens in crypto projects is that they don't have stablecoin revenue generation that can sustain the treasury overhead operations. So these projects end up selling a lot of the tokens that they have in their reserves, and that creates sell pressure and lowers the price. The really interesting thing about the token model from Commonwealth, and you can see when you go into it, is that everything was designed so that this sell pressure of wealth tokens from the foundation wouldn't have to happen. That there will be enough revenue generated from different aspects within the DAO that give plenty of overhead operations runway in stablecoin. Next, we have the community fund. Now, we have to give credit where credit is due. The community fund is taken out from Cult DAO. So hats off to Cult DAO for creating a brilliant token economy that I really, really appreciate. And we decided to include the same model in Commonwealth as well. It's an interesting concept because it gives the DAO members in Commonwealth something to do and also automatic value creation. It works in a very similar way to Cult DAO, where there's on-chain tax for Commonwealth. It's 1% of all on-chain activities. So whether it's buy, sell, stake, transfer, whatever, 1% taxes collected on all those transactions sent to a community fund. The community fund will act in a way that the top 50 stakers of wealth tokens will be able to make their own proposals to the rest of the stakers on whatever projects they want to invest into. And this will be a discussion that happens on the app in the community where they're thinking, hey, let's go invest in this thing, or we like this project. This is different from the themed funds where the council, which is elected or delegated or voted later on, this is a different process where the community fund is more just a matter of who's staking the most tokens can propose deals, and then the rest of its token holders can actually vote to pass the proposal to invest into a project. And so this and all the returns go, this is another way that the APY for staking tokens gets generated is through actual real world APY, and more token burning will happen as well here. The Evergreen Fund is kind of the fund of funds. So over time, there will be many different funds that someone can invest into on Commonwealth. And it's my belief that in time, Commonwealth will be so popular that if a $10 million fund opens up or a $20 million fund, that maybe that the whole thing sells out in a matter of minutes or something. An Evergreen Fund is a fund that is always open, meaning that anytime you want to, you can just go put in $1,000 into it or whatever. And the Evergreen Fund works in a way, it's a fund of funds. So it will invest in all of the themed funds that Commonwealth creates, and it'll always have the first right to invest will always invest first into all the theme funds. So it'll always take the first 5 or 10% of that fund will be given to the evergreen fund. So if you're someone who just wants to diversify across all the different types of theme funds, you don't want to think about it too much, and you don't want to have to, fight to make sure that you get your spot inside of one of these funds, the evergreen fund is a good opportunity. It will come later, probably next year or toward the end of this year. I'm not sure yet, but this is a really innovative idea as well. Okay, let's talk about fees real quick. Now, I talked about the transaction fees that happen on all on-chain tax or transactions. There's also the typical 2 and 20 structure that a normal traditional fund will take. Commonwealth is a bit different in the fact that there is that management fee and the carry fee, or that 2 and 20 that you would normally see at a traditional fund. So think of Commonwealth as a 2 and 50 by default. However, that's 50% success fee, meaning that if you generate $10,000 in profit, 5,000 of that would go back toward Commonwealth, the token economy, and 5,000 to you for your investment. But you can reduce that carry fee all the way down to 10% by staking wealth tokens when you do your investment, which is really cool. Another use case for the token, staking for discounts, as we see here. Let's say that you've got, so here's this investment fund one over here on the left, and then you've got, let's say, okay, so returns profit $500,000. And in this scenario, the investor didn't stake any other tokens for a discount. So half of that is a 50% carry fee that goes to Commonwealth, but the investor gets $250,000. They're happy. They just made good money. Now, what happens on the other 50%, the carry fee from Commonwealth? This is where things also get interesting. So you got here, add the 50%, that $250,000, 10% of that goes to buying back wealth tokens and adding them to liquidity in the DEX. And the other 10%, another 10% goes back to buying and burning. So you've got in this one scenario where one investor got $500,000 in payouts, you got $50,000 of buy pressure automatically happening in the market. This is on the open market. So you got a $50,000 buy order that comes in and boom, buys at $50,000. It doesn't matter what the price is, doesn't care, right? This is an autonomous system where it just has rules in the protocol built in. When something happens, it triggers another event to happen. And in this scenario, boom, $50,000 buy order just happened once. Imagine if there's 1,000 investors, getting paid out something like that. And so the rest is this $200,000 that left over from the carry that goes to the treasury. And then there's a diagram later that talks about what the treasury does exactly with the funds. Okay, let's talk about APY for a minute. So APY has traditionally in Web3 been used by a team creating this token out of thin air that has no real world value. And they create a bucket and they just distribute it to people who are staking for really no reason other than trying to reduce, because they probably don't have a good enough real world use case for the token. So they're looking for artificial ways to remove it from circulation by asking you to stake it and then giving you more tokens that are worthless on top of that. That's this kind of little scheme. Real world APY is what should be done in order to make sure that you don't have a massive amount of inflation, in fact, deflation happening within your economy, in order to really create real value and real value distribution. So let's take a look at this flowchart real quick. I'll kind of walk you through it. So here you've got the council members who are going to be sourcing the deals, and you've got the different funds inside here. You've got Metaverse Fund, Infrastructure Fund, all the different types of funds. Now you have a retail investor who can come, they can stake for a discount if they want to. They invest their USDC in these different funds. In exchange for their investment, they get the investment NFT, which represents their share of the investment in the funds. Once that the revenue here comes out from that investment, you've got the management fee and the carry fee. Now the carry fee goes to buyback and burn. And then these also, their other carry fee goes back into the treasury, which then gets redistributed. 15% of that profit goes back to the Genesis NFT holders. And then the other bit, the rest of the profit goes back to the actual retail investor themselves who invested into the fund. And if that retail investor chooses to sell their representation in that fund, they can put their NFT that represents their ownership into the NFT marketplace. Those NFT royalties just go back to feeding the community fund along with the on-chain tax. The community fund invests into projects. When it receives the investee project tokens back, it buys 100% of that value into wealth tokens. So you get more buy pressure there. 50% of those wealth tokens are burnt. The other 50% are redistributed to active stakers of wealth tokens. Boom. An amazing circular token economy, removing a bunch of supply with success and redistributing wealth creation to the true believers, the stakers of the wealth token, the community participants. That's where the real value lies here. The interesting thing is that you're servicing a large audience who wants exposure to a lot of deals. But in my opinion, the way that this is structured, Commonwealth, if you really want to place your bets, now this is not financial advice, wealth token might be the best place to do it just because it has such a brilliant economic design. Now, of course, there's more to it than just the design of the economy to make a successful project, but I think the value proposition here is incredibly high, and the team behind it is incredibly talented and has the capability to execute and pull this thing off. Commonwealth is powered by Wealth Utility Token. All non-investment financial transactions, rewards, staking, governance are transacted in Wealth and subject to 1% fee, which is used to fuel the community fund. Wealth is used to pay for transaction fees, reduce platform carry fees on investment returns, participate in fund and platform governance, deploy investment funds into projects, pay contributors, earn rewards for participation, learning, and promotion, earn passive income from community fund. USDC stablecoin, or that could change in the future, some sort that whatever the community thinks is the best way to redistribute profits, probably through some sort of stablecoin. That will evolve. Right now, it's USDC. That could evolve into Ethereum or DAI later or whatever. Here's some interesting things for you to check out. So 88 million or 8.8% of the entire token supply is going to the Genesis 1 NFT holders. So that's 88 million divided by 2,000 is how many, I believe that's 44,000 that each NFT holder Genesis 1 tokens will get. Genesis 2 NFTs are 2.2% of the supply, or 22 million is dedicated to the Genesis 2. So this is still happening. You still have a good chance. Those are going to be $99, the Genesis 2 NFTs that should be live probably by the time you're starting to watch this. Go check it out. The link will be in the description below for you to go to the mint page and all the details that you need for everything. And you can see that there's just a very honest breakdown here of what's going on. A big public sale. They want a lot of the public to be involved. Again, this is really trying to involve and engage retail and give you access and opportunity. The team with a modest 14%, advisors 3%, exchanges liquidity 10%. This is all pretty standard. The council here has 5%. That's to incentivize the council to sit there and bring good deals to the DAO. And yeah, you can come back and check this out in your own time. Everything that you need to know is here. This gives you a full breakdown. I'm not going to go into everything right now, but also what you can do now already is you can go stake your Genesis 1 and your Genesis 2 NFTs on the staking page. Right now, if you have a Genesis 1, you're making 27 wealth tokens every day, or Genesis 2 will be 5 wealth tokens every single day by staking them. So if you're planning on not flipping them anytime soon and you just want to earn more wealth tokens, go ahead and stake those NFTs. Now, I'm not going to get into a lot of the governance, but it is very important. You have to note that the team is doing everything possible to fully decentralize this as soon as possible, but it's taking a responsible approach to decentralization, meaning that it's not going to be done all at once, but the most important things will be from day one. And I really encourage you guys to come read this. It's really well thought out, the whole governance section, and the playbook on how we decentralize and democratize over time. So this project was all the way back into even before November 2021. And that was just with Master Ventures and Metavest coming together and thinking that there was a problem that we should solve and start exploring what that looks like. And then you can see here in October of last year is when the prototyping of the actual tech started, as well as a Genesis 1 NFT sale. And you can just come check out the rest of the timeline here in your own convenience. And the tech stack that is used is showing you that it's really legit, using a big tech stack to make sure that everything can get done in what has been promised here. And like I said, it's a very, very, very experienced technical team. I'm very confident in that. One of the things that a lot of people ask is Commonwealth similar to like a Launchpad or an investment DAO? And the answer is no, and I'll explain why. And with a Launchpad, typically these opportunities are coming much, much later than a seed round or a private sale VC would get. Sometimes these Launchpads do have private sale opportunities or seed round opportunities, but Usually that is a fairly small allocation, if any, and it's just not that common. Plus, there's a lot of difficult requirements to get into that. You have to, have a bunch of the Launchpad tokens. You got to compete in the lotteries, et cetera, et cetera. For DAO VCs, traditionally, they've all been syndicates. So it's a very kind of centralized thing where a couple of people will bring in some deals, and then you can invest into as a community, and then everyone's distributed tokens from those individual investments. The way that the traditional funds or these themed funds work within Commonwealth is very much like a traditional fund. So let's say that fund one opens up and it just has a general investment thesis. Well, if the first fund is a $1 million fund, then whoever wants to come invest into that fund can invest how much ever they want. When that $1 million cap is hit, the fund closes, and then it's time for that fund to start deploying. So those proposals come in from the council members, and then the LPs, or everyone who's invested into that fund, can decide if they want to invest on the proposals that come from the council. Once that $1 million has been deployed, or whatever the fund size is, all the capital, these funds are not recyclable, meaning that they don't take in profits and redistribute them. It's just a one-time deploying that capital. Once that $1 million in this example has been spent, fund two of the same mandate or same thesis can open up, and maybe it's a larger one, et cetera, et cetera. So when you're investing into these theme funds at Commonwealth, you are investing and then you're not making decisions on when to sell the tokens, for example, but you are voting on what to invest into. And then the tokens are sold automatically in exchange for stablecoin, repaying the investors in the fund. Once the investors hit a break even, so let's say that you put $100 into one of the funds, as soon as you've been paid back $100, there's $100, your first capital in, or your capital in, carry fee doesn't start getting charged until you've been paid back 100%, until there's profits. As soon as there's profits, that's when the success fee or the carry fee kicks in. And that's when, if you're staking for discount, that's when it becomes really beneficial. So this is how the fund structure works. Again, you're always liquid. So if you invest, $10,000 into a fund, you get that one NFT that represents that your investment that you can fractionize later and sell a portion if you want to recoup your initial investment, or if you need liquidity for anything. This is very, very unique about the fund structure and why it's much different than other products in the market. So in summary, this is probably the most exciting and well thought out and necessary projects that I've ever seen in the crypto space. Of course, I'm biased because it was partially my idea, but also the fact that I've been in the space for 11 years. I've seen thousands and thousands and thousands of projects. So the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again with different expectation results. However, we still haven't seen any Web3 technology adopted by the masses, and we have to do something differently. Robinhood is what it took for the retail to gain access and easily gain access to stocks. ChatGPT was the chatbot that gave retail easy access to AI. Commonwealth is the platform that will give easy access to the entire world, the best projects in the world, in the crypto space, in a truly grandma-friendly way. Guys, I am very excited for this. I will do more of these videos and looking forward to do some AMAs. And if you have any questions, make sure you leave them down below. I will answer them. And really excited about this. I'll catch you guys later. See ya.